Hello, I'm Desiree, and this is Desiree Loves to Read. If I'm wearing this shirt in a few videos, I will be trying to do a few videos on the same day. Today I decided to do my February wrap-up and my March TBR. So I read about 4.5 books in February. And so yes, let's just get started. The first book, I started it in January and I finished it in February, and it is a bind-up book of a series called Remember Me, The Return, and The Last Story. It is about a girl named Sherry Cooper who she wakes up dead. She falls off of her friend's balcony at her party, and everybody thinks that she committed suicide, but she finds out that she was murdered. So she's a spirit, but she looks to figure out who murdered her, whether it was one of her friends or someone else that may have just been there that she didn't know was there or something like that. And she is wondering why someone would murder her. And now she is out for justice, and she's also out for revenge. And I rated this 5 out of 5 stars. It was an awesome book. I would highly recommend this series. It was just amazing, and it kept me on my toes too. I did not want to stop reading this because it just kept me on my toes, and I wanted to continue to read it. The second book I decided to pick up in February is Go Ask Alice by Anonymous. This is about a girl named Alice who goes to a party, and she is served with LSD because they play a game called Button Button, and she got picked. And well, now she is pretty much addicted, and it takes her life downwards, and she goes into a downward spiral, and she just cannot figure out what to do with her life. And now she has to go on a journey, and it will rob her of her innocence, her youth, and ultimately her life. This book is written in diary form, and I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed this book. I wanted to keep reading it, but I just think that there could have been so much aspects and things like that. The third book that I picked up in February is Monster by Walter Dean Myers. One of my teachers when I was in high school gave me this book, so I decided to pick it up and finally read it. This book is about a boy named Steve Harmon who is on trial for murder, and he knows that he is innocent, but the only person who believes him is his mom. And now he has to convince the jury that he's innocent. Will this boy get a fair trial, or will he be called a monster because the fact that he looks like everyone else in jail? This book is written in screenplay form, and I rated this book, I believe, 3 out of 5 stars. It was interesting. It kept me wanting to read, I will say that, but I just thought there could have been a little more. I could have liked it a little better. I'm not sure why I didn't like it that much, but I think it could have been just a little better. Then I picked up Brighton Beach Memoirs, a play by Neil Simon. This is kind of hard for me to explain. It's about a boy named Eugene Jerome and his family, and it's like the heart of the Depression, and it's about him and his family's life, and he explains his memoirs and takes us down his memoirs and his path. And it shows his family and their adventures and how they meet life's challenges with pride and spirit and marvelous sense of humor. And then World War II looms over, or closer, and he sees his innocence slipping away, and the first era of his life ends and a new one begins. This book is written in play form, and I believe I rated this a 3 out of 5 stars. I've read this before in high school. We read this, and I rated it a 3 out of 5 stars. I liked it. I'm not going to say I didn't like it, but I'm not really into older books that take place in the, like, Depression years and the World War II years. I'm not really into books that are older like that, but I did enjoy it, so I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. Then I picked up Harry Potter and the Sorcerers of Stone. This is the first book, the first year of the Harry Potter series. This is the first time I've read it. This is the only one I own. I cannot wait to get the rest of them. This is about a boy named Harry Potter who has a horrible life. He lives with his aunt, his uncle, and his cousin, and, well, they don't treat him right. And he lives under a foot of stairs, and he's not welcome there. And so he is just an unhappy kid, and he hasn't had a birthday in 11 years. He's 11 years old, and he hasn't had a birthday party or anything. So he's just a very unhappy kid. But then he gets a mysterious message from an owl, and it's inviting him to this magical place that he could never dream of, where there's sports that he's never heard of, and there's magic. And so when he enters this place, he meets new friends and learns new aerial sports, and there's magic around every corner. But Harry Potter has a destiny if he can, if he can survive the encounter. This book I rated 5 out of 5 stars. This was an amazing book. I would highly recommend this book. And this is by J.K. Rowling, if I have not said that. I would highly recommend this book. This is just an amazing book. Just amazing. I can't even explain it other than that. And now, the books that I have planned, or at least right now I'm planning on reading in March, I have about 4.5 books planned. So yes, the first book that I'm planning on trying to read some of this is The Host by Stephenie Meyer. I'm trying to get to at least page 500 or so. If I could finish the book, I'd be so amazed. But considering I'm kind of a slow reader, and long books make me nervous and not want to read them, so it takes me longer to read them, I'm not planning on finishing it, but I'm planning on at least getting to page 500 something. I am on 283 or 284, and this is kind of hard to explain also. This is about this girl named Melanie Strider. Yes. And she refuses to fade away. This intruding spirit takes over Melanie's body, and Melanie is still, like, in her mind, though. So the spirit is named Wanderer, and she is, like, is Melanie now, but Melanie is the host, and Melanie just refuses to fade away. She refuses to leave, and she just despises Wanderer. But then Melanie begins to bring in thoughts and memories, and she brings in memories of a guy named Jared, and Wanderer begins to yearn for Jared, even though Wanderer has never met him. And, well, they go on a journey, and they try to find the person. They try to find Jared, the man that they both love. And that's pretty much the only way I know how to explain this book, or else just read the whole back. But I don't want to read the whole back, so I'm trying to explain it in my own words. Then I will be reading If I Stay by Gayle Forman. Yes, I know that this is a very popular book, and yes, I know that I should have read it a long time ago, and yes, I now know that it is a duology, and there is a second one to this, which I did not know before, so I do not own the second one, so hopefully I will either buy the second one or get it from the library when I'm finished reading this. I am hoping that I will enjoy this book. This is, not that long of a book. It's a pretty short-ish book, and this is about a girl named Mia, who... her family gets into a car accident, and her parents got killed in the car accident. And now Mia is between life and death, and now she has to make a decision that is like the last decision she has to make. And she's caught between life and death, so yes. Then I have Willow by Julia Hoban, and I also know that this is something I should have read years ago, and I've had both of these books for years. Most of my books I've had for years, but haven't actually read. So yes, Willow is about this girl who, her parents drink too much at dinner, and they ask her to drive home. So Willow drives home, but they didn't make it home. She loses control of the car, and her parents got killed. And so now she thinks that it's all her fault, and she doesn't know how to cope with her pain, and the only way that Willow knows how to cope with her pain is by secretly cutting herself. Then she meets a boy named Guy, who she finds out is as sensitive as she is, and it just becomes harder for her to keep the secret that's written all over her body. Then I picked out the first book in the Immortals series, and this is the only one I own. I've had this for years, and it's called Evermore, and it's by Alison Noel. And this, I've heard different kinds of reviews on all these books, but this book is about this girl named Ever. Her parents, well, they got into a car accident, and her parents were killed. And now she can see auras and hear people's thoughts, and she can know your whole life just by touching you. And, well, she meets this boy named Damien August, and things change. Like, she can't figure out who Damien August is or what he is. And she's a freak at her new high school. But when she meets Damien August, she can't figure out who he is or what he is. She can't read. I think it's pretty much saying that she can't really read him like she can other people. And, well, the only thing that she knows is that she's fallen hopelessly and deeply in love with this boy. Then I'm planning on picking up The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. Again, I know I should have read this. I do understand that. I should have read this a long time ago. And this is hard for me to explain, too, without reading the back of it. But it's pretty much about a girl named Hazel who goes to this cancer support group. She has cancer, and she meets this boy who's named Augustus Waters. And he suddenly appears at cancer support group, and now her life will be rewritten. Her story will be rewritten. So yes, I do know that I should have read this a long time ago. Unfortunately, someone kind of ruined this for me because they told me what happens, but I'm planning on reading it anyways, just because I've heard it's such an amazing book that I would love to read it. And I heard it's sad. So most of the books I picked out are sad, or at least I heard they're sad. I honestly did not mean to pick out 3 books that are due with car accidents and them dealing with issues from that. I honestly did not mean to do that, but I did, so I'm just sticking with it. And so most of the books I pick, I heard are depressing, but I also heard that they're great books, so I'm planning on reading them anyways. And that was my February wrap-up, and let's see if I can hold them all at the same time. And my March TBR. So, yes. Thank you for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I am sorry this video was so long, and I will see you all in my next video.